Shalom, everybody, and welcome to this short update from Israel. My name is Barry Siegel. Now, friends, let me give you a rough timeline of events which led up to the U.S. strike on Iran's main nuclear facilities, the strikes themselves, and the expected aftermath. First, it needs to be clearly understood that Israel launched Operation Rising Lion on the morning of June 13th with the expectation that the Trump administration and the United States would join in the attack on Iran sooner or later. This was a gamble, but the odds were good for all kinds of reasons. Now, some might say Israel took advantage of a situation to drag the United States into a war that's not in America's interest to fight and put American troops and civilians at risk to serve Israeli interests. Well, it might be understandable for some, and maybe some see things that way, but let me offer another perspective. Sometimes friends have to persuade friends to do things that are in their own best interest. And bombing Iran's nuclear facilities is as much in American strategic interests as it is in Israeli interests. Taking this step lets America's friends and enemies know that Uncle Shmuel, that's Uncle Sam, still has it where it counts, which is geostrategically priceless. That's on top of the way it slaps down this Iranian regime, which has long been an irritant for America on the world stage, encouraging other mid-sized powers to hassle Washington as well. Hopefully, we'll see less of that going forward. Now, with all that having been said, the Israeli Air Force attacked the Iranian targets almost at will for a week before the U.S. strikes on Fordo, Isfahan, and Natanz. Then on Saturday morning, B-2 bombers took off from their bases in Missouri with an official announcement that they were on their way to Guam. But the truth is, they weren't headed west, they were headed east. After a trip lasting nearly a whole day, more than ever before, we saw these stealth bombers moving in which they conducted several mid-air refuelings in order to stay airborne. They arrived in the skies over Syria, where they were joined by F-15, F-22, and F-35 fighter aircraft launched from U.S. bases in the region. The fighters quickly attacked the remaining Iranian air defense systems, clearing the way for the B-2 stealth bombers. In all, 6 B-2 strategic bombers each dropped 2 GBU 57 massive ordnance penetrator bombs known as Moab on the underground facility at Fordo. That's 12. While another one dropped 2 more on Natanz. That's 2 more. That's 14 altogether, which is less well protected. Now, the facility at Isfahan was hit by a barrage of submarine-launched Tomahawk cruise missiles, and all 3 facilities suffered tremendous damage. President Trump issued a statement from the White House giving details of the attacks and thanking Israel for assisting in the planning of the strike. Prime Minister thanked President Trump and the U.S. military, praising the long-standing partnership with America. Now, one thing I want to say, both the Prime Minister of Israel as well as President Trump gave thanks to God. They gave glory to God and thanked him. Now, immediately after the strikes, Iran launched ballistic missiles at Israel. I was in a bomb shelter, even as the Israeli Air Force continued to hit Iranian strategic targets, including military airfields, ballistic missile storage depots, and launchers. Iranian officials are understandably furious and vowing to take revenge, but the simple fact is they don't have a whole lot of options. They're running out of operational ballistic missile launchers. While there are many reasons for them not to block the Straits of Hormuz or carry out terror attacks as they are threatening to do. Meanwhile, all their regional allies are staying out of this fight, hoping to avoid being utterly destroyed. That's where things stand right now, and I believe it's unlikely that Russia or China will come to the aid of their Iranian ally, as they can surely see that the regime has already been defeated and there's not much left to save. Now, on that note, a personal note and message to the Ayatollah: has anybody given you the GPS coordinates for this gold dome over Jerusalem? Well, you've got it now.